All right, we'll get started with our post-race press conferences for the PowerShares QQQ 300 here today. We are joined by our second-place finisher, Joey Logano, who drives the number 22 Discount Tire Ford. Joey, can you just walk us through that last lap there when you tried to make the move on Chase?
Just finished second again. Second's not bad, but kind of sucks at the same time. Better way to put it, but man, just so close once again. It's 3 races and we've been so close to winning one of them, and really want to get out there and make it happen. But I thought we were moving up through the field there on that restart. Kind of I started having a good push and went out to pass Chase, and then the one kind of hung me out. And then I had Casey back there, and the Dillon brothers, and all of them, they just want to win. So they got the same attitude as me, and that's the type of racer you need behind you. And they started pushing, and we started slowly making the top work, slowly but surely, kind of moving it up. And then towards the end of the last lap, I started getting up there and had a good run on 88. Chase did a great job blocking to the top off of 2. At that point, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if Casey was going to keep pushing me because that was his teammate. So I was like, I know Casey's not going with me anymore at this point. So I felt like I was kind of on my own, and I started pushing Chase out a little bit, and was going to make that pass late off of 4. And we went to the top, and obviously he was watching the mirror. Thought we were going to hit the wall, and we didn't. And then by the time I got back out there, we made some contact, and the contact is what kind of killed me there. That killed my forward momentum. I had to be able to pass him by the line, and I just couldn't do it in time. So unfortunately, we finished second again, but still proud of what we've done with this Discount Tire Ford, and wanted to get Brian Wilson a win in his first race. That'd been really cool, and just came up a little short again.
All right, well, we are also joined by our fourth-place finisher, the driver of the number 1 main Chevrolet, Elliott Sadler, who finished as the top NASCAR XFINITY Series points contender. Elliott, this is your 6th top 5 finish here at Daytona. Can you take us through that final lap there as well, please?
Crossed my mind.
I'm sorry, we're finishing talking.
I forgot he drove for Junior now, not for Roush, and it confused me.
You want to know why I didn't go with him down the backstretch? I had to go with Chase.
Oh, yeah. I just had the oh, yeah moment.
You guys interrupted a pretty good conversation.
I don't blame you now. I was mad. Now I get it.
All right. Man, we're on the same page. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Can you just walk us through that final lap there?
Oh, yeah. I had no idea that the 5 and the 22 had such a run on the outside. I was going to try to wait to turn 4 to try to make a move on Chase and just see what happens. But Joey and Casey did a great job getting up beside us and having so much momentum. And then when Chase pulled up to block him and kind of stalled the outside line, we actually pulled back in the front halfway down the back straightaway, but the 6 car was just not able to push us as fast as what the 22 and the 88 could do. So, we had to settle for 4th. But look, proud of my guys. First time at the box together, and Kevin did a tremendous job, brought me a fast race car. We run in the top 5 all day long and had some fun, and we got a car in one piece to take to Talladega, but a great shot of momentum for us moving on to Atlanta from here.
All right, we're going to start up in the press box with a question, then we'll bring it back downstairs.
Chris Knight, catch fence. Oh.
Well, it's all right. Next time we
Gotcha. Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Elliott, how important was it for you to leave Daytona with the points lead and momentum taking into Atlanta next week?
Well, momentum's the main thing. Look, guys, I'm in a great situation. A lot of people don't know the history of Dale Jr. and Kelly and myself, and we've known each other since we were teenagers. And for our relationship to come full circle and be at this race team and to see how much effort they have put into their program this winter. Showed today, I think 3 of the top 4 were junior motorsports cars, and I feel like we got some good stuff coming down the road. The points lead is good, but it's all about, like just Joey just says, all about getting wins, and that's what it's all about now, especially with this Chase format. But I could not be more proud of my guys. We had a lot of people here from 1 Main today, a lot of them watching their first race ever here at Daytona, and they were very impressed with the racetrack, and hopefully they were impressed with the way we ran all day.
All right, we'll come up here to Matt, and then to Jerry, and then to Tom.
God, I wish I thought about
Matt Weaver, AutoWeek.com. From the outside looking in, it seems like, Joey, that you were almost breaking the no push rule there on the last lap to where.
That's what I thought. That's what I
And I was going to say, Elliott.
No one understands the push rule.
That's what
Like
I
the
thought.
cloud. No one understands the cloud either.
Do this interview under protest.
And I would say, Elliott, with your situation, it seems like you guys were trying to adhere to the block rule. So I'm curious, was that the case?
No, we won't. I was trying to get Bubba to push me because I could. Look, you got to be as aggressive as you need to be to win these races. Nobody's going to give it to you. And we saw Joey does a good job. He's not tandem. He's pushing and getting off, pushing and getting, and really, really is good at it. So we were wanting to do the same thing on the inside too, but it just wasn't working out. Your timing and everything, momentum, everything has got to be going forward at that time. And Casey and Joey had such a good run. That's why it seemed like they were able to get a good push off.
So I guess the question then for both of you guys, if that rule, if you guys do understand the rule, does it kind of go out the window on the last lap?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a tough question.
It's a tough question for sure. I think the way it's explained to me is basically everyone on the last lap's pushing. So are they going to black flag the whole field? You know what I mean? I think that's where it becomes very challenging. Any time you have cars that are capable of doing something pretty amazing as far as being able to push and tandem, and you tell the drivers not to, that makes it that rule kind of tough, because most of the time for the drivers, it's kind of do whatever you want, stay above the yellow line, and tomorrow that's what we'll have. And the only difference is the cars can't get as close as what these Xfinity cars can, and that's what allows that tandem to happen. The tandem can't even happen in the Cup Series because of the way the aero package is. But with these cars, you can hook up just like we used to and push for laps. We can push for a whole run if we wanted to, but by the rules we can't. So it's such a fine line, and it's if you can stay close to them and come off an inch and go back on and go off an inch and go back on, and that's basically what you want to do. You can start to make some headway, but if you can actually attach and go, man, it's so much better. But you can't do that. It's just a fine line of what's too much and what's actually moving it forward. Because if we didn't push, all you would have is a single file line on the bottom, and no one would be making the top work. And quite frankly, it'd be a boring race. So I believe the tandem, I like the tandem. If you want my opinion, I think the tandem's cool. I think it was a really cool race back in the day when it was like that. And I think the way they have it now, they let us push just enough to make the second lane move, but it's never really enough to get it all the way up there. It's really hard to make that happen.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, and Kicking the Tires. Joey, not rubbing salt in the wound here, but second 3 times, like you said.
I know.
Have you picked up anything that you can transfer over to defend your D500 championship from last year?
Yeah, well, I mean, this race is just so different. Like I said, the aero package is so different. You learn nothing by running the Xfinity race here. What I do gain is just more time with my spotter, and we can just communicate and talk more and keep, get that lingo going and all. And fortunately enough, we've been able to race a lot throughout this whole Speed Weeks, which has been a lot of fun. But, I feel like we're doing a really good job, and I watch these races and back over, and we've lost them in a different way every time. But, these last 2 have probably been the closest. I feel like we're getting closer. I almost got to the outside of Junior in our duel. This time I actually got to the outside of the 88, different driver, same number. And then, hopefully tomorrow I can actually get in front of it by the start-finish line. That'd be really cool. But, hey, like I said, second isn't nothing to really hold your head down about. We've had a great Speed Weeks. There's a lot of people, if you gave them 3 second-place finishes throughout all the Speed Weeks, they take it in a heartbeat, believe me. But so I'm not taking it for granted by no means, but I really want to win. They don't give trophies for second place. I'd much rather have 3 trophies sitting next to me right now.
All right, we're going to go to
And
Tom.
Elliott, sorry, but you can sit here too.
We're going to go to Tom, and then Jared, and then Ken.
Hi, Joey. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. You have very loyal fans on Twitter. They're already complaining that if Joey would have thrown a block like Chase did, that would have been dirty driving. Do you think the contact in there was clean? Did you have any problem with it?
I had no problem with it. That's what I expect. I'm a racer. I expect him to make the move to make sure I don't win. That's what he should do. He did exactly what he's supposed to do, the same thing that I would do, and wouldn't expect any repercussions back. That's racing. That's what our fans pay money to come see. That's what they come to this beautiful facility to watch, great racing. And that's what we saw today. I don't have any problems with the way we raced at the end. I think he did everything right. We made some contact. I wish I didn't, because that would have given me enough momentum maybe to win the race. But unfortunately, that contact just stopped my car, and then I had no momentum after that.
We'll go to Jared and then to Ken.
FoxSports.com, Jared Turner. Questions for Elliott. Elliott, what has impressed you the most about junior motorsports so far? And do you feel like perhaps this is your best opportunity ever to win the championship this year?
Well, the biggest thing that's impressed me is just Dale and Kelly are very vested in that race team. I mean, they're involved heavily. They have a direct line to Hendrick Motorsports, which never hurts. I didn't realize there was that much support when I first started kind of going over there at the end of last season. And they made some really good hires this winter and brought in some, I think, some talented people and beefed up the body shop a little bit and have done some really great things. So I've been very impressed on the family atmosphere in the race. It's a lot of racers over there, I think, that do it for the fun of it and do it for the love of the sport. And that seemed to have impressed me the most so far. We seem to be very prepared. Not only for here, but for Atlanta and Vegas and Phoenix and stuff coming up with the cars that we have lined up. The guys have done a really good job of making sure we're prepared to the best of our ability going into each week. And I think that will show in speed when we show up at the racetracks.
Go to Ken.
Joey, the replays from the front, looking through the windshield of the final, when you guys came to the checkers, Chase was working hard to keep control of that car. How would you rate the contact between the two of you there? Is that enough to normally make somebody lose it, or were you surprised that neither of you lost it? Or I'm sure you've been on both sides of that. How would you rate the give and take that was going on coming down there?
Typical for the last lap coming there for checkered flag. The contact was I was behind him pushing him. So there's contact there. And then obviously, if you watch his hands, I'm sure he's trying to keep me behind him as well. So some of those moves are to keep me behind him. So he's working his car back and forth to keep me behind him. And then when I got next to him, he tried to go for the block as well. And then that's when we touched. And then, of course, when he touches, he's going to have to steer. And, like I said earlier, totally acceptable. Is that enough to crash someone? No, if I was on the inside of him, I would have hooked him. But the fact that we're turning to the left, everything was fine.
Go ahead, Zach.
Zach Catan's very fun stretch. This can be for both of you. Kind of describe how different it is when strategy comes to play on a plate track rather than on a short track or intermediate. How much different is it when strategy comes to play?
I just think the biggest strategy today, what we found out, is trying to keep track position. Put enough fuel in the car to where you stay in the pit box the least amount of time that you can. I think both of us learned one time we had to restart in the back because some bunch of cars stayed out. We kind of got trapped in the middle and 3 wide and all of that. And after that, my team decided to stay on pit road the least amount of time that you can. Tires are not a big issue here like they're on a short track. So we wanted to get in. We didn't take any tires there at the end. We wanted to get in and get off pit road and stay up front as much as we can. We felt like that was the best chance for us to have an opportunity to win this race.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously when a caution comes out 7 laps into a run and then a few laps later, it's going to mix it up. And I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I didn't feel very comfortable when we were back there.
I was yelling.
I was not pushing anyone in front of me. I wanted to get to the top, and you got up there, but I couldn't find a hole. And so, we just kind of took that run as a loss and eventually kind of cycled through. And then once we got single file, I started try to leapfrog a couple and kind of pass one and cut back in the hole.
See, you got us in that problem because we were on the bottom and you went to the middle. And I'm like, man, I'm going with Joey to the middle. He must know something. And then
I thought I knew something.
The 46 was sitting there. Then I'm like, man, what'd you get us into here? We're stuck in the middle 3 wide.
That was a bad move.
And I was like, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it.
I thought we were going to crash. I wasn't even wide open. I didn't want no part of it.
I was waving out the window to whoever was behind me.
I saw the guys moving on the top. I got to get up there, and then there was never a hole. And so
keep track position. Yeah.
All right, we'll take another question in the middle.
David Swope, ESPN, Albuquerque. Question for Elliott. Did you have a plan on the last race or on the last lap there actually to make a move on Chase
Yeah.
and lock your position in, or
Oh, definitely. We had a plan, and the position I was sitting in was my spotter was letting me know what the 22 and the 5 were doing because they were making some time on the outside. So he was giving me play-by-play on what those guys are doing, and then I was trying to figure out because Chase was leading, and yes, I'm his teammate, but one of his best friends in the whole garage is Bubba Wallace, who was running third. So I'm sitting there thinking, if I see, he knows that's why he's laughing. If I pull out, I have a feeling Bubba's going to stay with Chase. So I need to try to figure out what to do. So my plan was to do the exact same thing Joey did, was to push Chase all the way to turn 4 and then try to make a move one way or the other to try to win the race.
He popped up in front of me. I would have went with you.
Oops. See, now you tell me. So 22, those guys did a good job of getting to our door in the turn 1 a lot faster than I thought they were going to get there. I thought we were going to be able to stall them out behind us and Chase and I could get away, but Joey and Casey had such a good run, it kind of trapped us behind Chase. And then when he moved up, then of course your strategy changes. But going with 5, 4, 3, 2 laps to go in the race, I was trying to just position myself to get a run so I could make a move off turn 4. Kind of the same thing that happened anyway, just two different players.
All right, we'll take a final question from Kelly.
I was scared you were going to split me if I moved up. Y'all were running so fast.
We had big speed.
Yeah.
Maybe by then.
Yeah, I was like, you're going to split me if I move up. All right, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Kelly Crandall from PopularSpeed.com. For Elliott, you've been with some of the top teams in the Xfinity Series. You're now with the defending series champions. Do you feel like you have to still try to improve yourself? Do you feel any pressure to kind of prove anything?
Well, nobody's going to put more pressure on me than myself, to be honest with you. And I think since I've been in the Xfinity Series the last 5 years, no matter what team I've been for, I think I got more poles and just as many wins as any other regulars in the series. So I think that's a pretty good stat. So no matter where we've been, I would have liked to run a little bit better last year. That's probably the most disappointing season I've ever had in the Xfinity Series, points and top 5s, top 10s, poles, everything. But a couple years before that, I felt like we were strong and ran up front and won some races. And I really feel comfortable with the position I'm in. As far as proving some, I got to prove some to myself. That's it. Nobody has more fire out there looking at me than I have in myself. And, I have a little chip on my shoulder and I think every driver does, that you want to go out there and you want to win, you want to run up front, and you want to do good, and you want to get the finishes that you feel like that you earn. So that's kind of where I'm at as a person right now.
All right, Joey, Elliott, thanks for coming in here today. And Joey, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Try to pass one car.
Yeah, just one. You only got one.
One more.